Have you ever felt an unsettling pull, a subtle nudge that steers you in a direction you didn't intend to go? Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling drained, wondering if you just gave away more than you intended? If so, you've likely encountered the shadowy world of dark psychology, the art of influence and persuasion that, in the wrong hands, can become a tool for manipulation. This isn't about grand conspiracies. It's about the everyday tactics used by narcissists, gaslighters, and emotional vampires to control narratives, decisions, and even your self-worth. Understanding these tricks isn't just about recognizing them. It's about building an impenetrable shield around your mind. So if you're ready to unravel the secrets that manipulators desperately want to keep hidden, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey to reclaim your power. The first, and perhaps most insidious trick in a manipulator's playbook is gaslighting. This tactic is designed to make you question your own sanity, memory, and perception of reality. It's a slow, steady erosion of your confidence, where a manipulator denies events that clearly happen, dismisses your feelings as overreactions, or even subtly alters details to make you doubt yourself. Imagine Sarah, a bright, capable professional whose partner constantly forgets promises he made, only to later insist she never mentioned them. "You're imagining things, Sarah," he'd say. "I never agreed to that." Over time, Sarah started to second-guess herself, wondering if her memory was truly failing, if she was indeed too sensitive. This isn't just frustrating, it's deeply damaging to one's sense of self. The manipulator wants you to believe their version of reality because once they control your perception, they control you. They might say, "I never said that, you're always twisting my words," or "Why are you getting so worked up over nothing? You're being dramatic." The goal is to make you internalize their doubts, making you more susceptible to their influence. As the renowned psychologist Dr. Robin Stern, author of The Gaslight Effect, explains, gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that makes you question your own judgment and reality. It's a subtle but powerful way to seize control, leaving you feeling disoriented and dependent on their clarity. Another potent weapon in the dark psychology arsenal is love bombing, often seen in the early stages of narcissistic relationships. This trick involves overwhelming a target with excessive affection, flattery, and attention, creating an intense, almost dizzying sense of connection and adoration. Think of it as a rapidly deployed charm offensive designed to disarm and hook you. Emily met Mark, and within weeks he was showering her with gifts, constant compliments, and declarations of undying love. "You're the most incredible person I've ever met," he'd text incessantly. "I can't believe I found you." He made her feel like the center of his universe, special and cherished. This isn't genuine affection. It's a strategic maneuver to create a deep emotional bond and dependency before the devaluation phase begins. The manipulator establishes themselves as your primary source of validation and happiness, making it incredibly difficult to break away later. They might say things like, "No one understands you like I do," or "We have such a special connection, it's like we were meant to be." This intense early connection creates a powerful sense of obligation and loyalty, making you overlook red flags that might otherwise be glaring. It's a psychological Trojan horse, delivering a false sense of security before unleashing its true manipulative intent. Triangulation is a classic manipulative tactic that involves introducing a third party into a dynamic to create drama, control, or insecurity. This isn't always another person. It can be a rumor, an implied threat, or even a past relationship. The manipulator uses this third element to communicate indirectly, sow discord, or gain an advantage. Consider a manager who tells one employee, "The CEO mentioned how impressed they were with John's work ethic, unlike some others," without directly naming anyone. This creates competition and anxiety, making employees work harder to gain favor, often at each other's expense. In personal relationships, a manipulator might constantly bring up an ex-partner, praising their qualities to make you feel insecure and strive harder for their approval. "My ex always knew how to make me feel special," they might say, subtly implying you're not measuring up. This tactic fragments relationships, prevents direct communication, and keeps the target constantly seeking validation from the manipulator. It's a way to maintain power by keeping everyone off balance and focused on external comparisons rather than the manipulator's own behavior. As psychologist Dr. Ramani Durvasula often notes, triangulation is a classic narcissistic maneuver to control and divide. The subtle art of guilt tripping is a powerful tool manipulators use to control behavior by inducing a sense of obligation or shame. This trick plays on your empathy and desire to be a good person, making you feel responsible for the manipulator's feelings or problems. Imagine a parent who constantly says, "After everything I've done for you, how could you even think of doing that?" when their adult child wants to pursue an independent path. This isn't about genuine disappointment. It's about leveraging past actions to control future choices. The manipulator casts themselves as the victim, making you feel like the perpetrator if you don't comply with their wishes. They might use phrases like, "If you really cared about me, you would," or "I guess my feelings don't matter to you." This creates an invisible emotional leash, pulling you back whenever you try to assert your boundaries. Guilt tripping can be incredibly effective because it taps into our innate desire to avoid causing pain to others, even if that pain is being strategically manufactured. It traps you in a cycle of appeasement, where your own needs are constantly sacrificed for the manipulator's emotional comfort. Playing the victim is a highly effective dark psychology trick where the manipulator consistently portrays themselves as a helpless, suffering individual, garnering sympathy and avoiding accountability. This isn't genuine vulnerability, it's a strategic performance designed to elicit care, excuse bad behavior, and manipulate others into doing their bidding. Think of the friend who constantly has a crisis, always needing help, money, or emotional support, but never seems to improve their situation or offer help in return. "Everything always happens to me," they lament. "I just can't catch a break." This narrative prevents you from holding them accountable for their actions, as any criticism is met with a reminder of their unfortunate circumstances. They might say, "You wouldn't understand, you've never had it this hard," or "I'm just so overwhelmed, I can't possibly deal with that right now." This manipulation tactic drains your energy and resources, leaving you feeling responsible for their well-being, even when they're perfectly capable of helping themselves. It's a masterful deflection technique, shifting the focus away from their manipulative behavior and onto their perceived suffering. Future faking is a particularly cruel manipulative tactic where the manipulator makes grand promises about a shared future to keep their target engaged and compliant with no intention of ever following through. This trick taps into your hopes, dreams, and desire for stability, creating an illusion of a shared destiny that binds you to them. Consider a partner who constantly talks about buying a house together, traveling the world, or starting a family, knowing full well they have no intention of committing. "Imagine us 5 years from now living by the beach," they might dreamily say, painting a vivid picture that tugs at your heartstrings. These aren't genuine plans. They are carrots dangled to maintain control and keep you invested in the relationship. When you try to hold them accountable, they'll often deflect or make excuses, pushing the future further out of reach. "It's just not the right time yet, darling," they'll reassure you, subtly implying that your impatience is the problem. This leaves you in a constant state of anticipation, putting your own life on hold for a future that will never materialize, serving only the manipulator's need for control and attention. Emotional blackmail is a direct and aggressive form of manipulation that uses threats, ultimatums, or emotional pressure to force compliance. This tactic exploits your fears, insecurities, and love for the manipulator, holding your emotions hostage to get what they want. It's often disguised as concern or love, but at its core, it's about control. Imagine a partner who says, "If you go out with your friends tonight, I'll be so upset I won't be able to sleep." Or, "If you really loved me, you'd do this for me." These statements are designed to make you feel responsible for their emotional state and to fear the consequences of not complying. They create a no-win situation where your only escape from their emotional suffering, real or manufactured, is to give in to their demands. As Dr. Susan Forward, author of Emotional Blackmail, explains, emotional blackmailers use fear, obligation, and guilt to control their relationships. This tactic can range from subtle hints to overt threats, always with the underlying message that your failure to comply will lead to severe emotional distress for them. and by extension, for you. It's a brutal emotional weapon that leaves you feeling trapped and resentful. Finally, we have the insidious tactic of passive aggression. This isn't about direct confrontation, but rather a subtle, indirect expression of hostility, resentment, or opposition. It's a manipulator's way of punishing you or getting their way without ever openly stating their intentions. Think of a roommate who accidentally leaves their dirty dishes in the sink after you've asked them to clean up, or a colleague who forgets to include you in an important email chain. They might say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have forgotten," with a tone that implies anything but genuine regret. This behavior is designed to frustrate, annoy, and subtly undermine you, making you feel like you're going crazy because you can't quite pinpoint what they're doing wrong. It's a silent war, fought with subtle digs, backhanded compliments, and deliberate inefficiencies. Passive aggression avoids direct communication, making it incredibly difficult to address, as any attempt to confront them is met with denial or feigned innocence. It's a slow burn, chipping away at your patience and making you question your own perceptions of their behavior. Understanding these dark psychology tricks isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming empowered. It's about recognizing the subtle cues, setting firm boundaries, and protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Manipulators thrive in the shadows of ignorance, but by shining a light on their tactics, we disarm them. Remember, your intuition is a powerful guide. If something feels off, if you constantly feel drained or confused in a particular relationship, it's worth taking a closer look. Don't let anyone make you doubt your own reality or diminish your self-worth. By arming yourself with this knowledge, you build an impenetrable shield against those who seek to control. Stay vigilant, trust yourself, and never underestimate the power of knowing what manipulators hate you knowing.